This presentation will cover pre-kindergarten program self-assessment. Our agenda for this presentation will cover why conduct program self-assessments, how does it fit into high-quality pre-kindergarten, what is a program self-assessment, when should program self-assessments be conducted, who should be involved in the process, what is the process, and what resources are available. Participants will learn how to use the pre-kindergarten program self-assessment tool to evaluate their pre-kindergarten programs, and where to find resources and support to drive continuous improvement through evaluation. Evaluating the quality of your early childhood programs helps ensure that our youngest learners are receiving the early learning experience necessary to support optimal development and learning in early childhood. The Early Childhood Education Division at the Texas Education Agency, or TEA, has developed the Early Childhood Program Self-Assessment for pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, first grade, and second grade to help local education agencies in their continuous improvement efforts. Program evaluation is one of 6 components that the Texas Legislature has defined to promote pre-kindergarten quality through House Bill 3. Those include curriculum, student progress monitoring, class ratio, teacher qualifications, family engagement, kindergarten readiness data, and program evaluation. The mandates regarding these 6 components have become the foundation of what a high-quality pre-kindergarten program looks like in the state of Texas. One of these components, program evaluation, is why the Early Childhood Program Self-Assessment documents were created by TEA, to give LEAs a tool that could be used for continuous improvement and meet a statutory requirement. The high-quality pre-kindergarten components are applicable to all programs, districts, open enrollment charters, and districts in innovation serving eligible 4-year-old students using foundation school program funding. It should be noted that using the TEA pre-kindergarten self-assessment is not required, and a different evaluation tool may be used. The TEA pre-kindergarten self-assessment tool is available for use in a downloadable PDF format and an anonymous online version for the LEAs. Using the TEA pre-kindergarten program self-assessment does meet the high-quality pre-kindergarten program evaluation component. With House Bill 3, program evaluation is established in the Texas Education Code as well as Commissioner Rule. This means that LEAs must select and implement a method for evaluating their pre-kindergarten program. Program evaluation must include measuring student progress. Results from the program evaluation must be available to parents. LEAs must report the type of program evaluation they used into ECDS. LEAs should maintain documentation of their compliance with this requirement. For further information in the exact language and statute, the Education Code and the Commissioner's Rule sections are included in this slide. The Early Childhood Education Division recognizes that the process for completing a program self-assessment is highly dependent upon the makeup of the LEA. Therefore, the goal of this presentation is to provide a variety of resources that support a range of LEA sizes, organizational structures, and capacities. The intended use of the Early Childhood Pre-Kindergarten Program Self-Assessment tool is to assist LEAs in evaluating their early childhood programs in order to make program adjustments to meet the needs of all students through reflection and evaluation to inform continuous improvement. The pre-kindergarten program self-assessment is not a system of scoring, grading, or labeling a program, nor is it a tool to publicly compare or judge early childhood programs. Additionally, the pre-kindergarten program self-assessment should not be used as a means to evaluate staff in the classroom. In addition to the pre-kindergarten self-assessment, TEA offers 3 other self-assessments: kindergarten, first grade, and second grade, as well as the Early Childhood Program Self-Assessment Guide. The hyperlink on this slide can take you directly to the TEA page with the available program evaluations and guide. Planning for the process of conducting the Early Childhood Pre-Kindergarten Program Self-Assessment helps ensure that you have ample time to complete the tool and initiate continuous quality improvement efforts. This slide is a suggested timeline for completing the pre-kindergarten program self-assessment and can be adjusted to fit the needs of each LEA. When creating a timeline, consider the following. What other meetings, activities, and events will be occurring during the program self-assessment process that might create scheduling conflicts or hinder the self-assessment process? Does your LEA have an approval process for sending out surveys that may require you to start the process earlier? If completing multiple tools, will the committee be the same for each grade level? Does waiting until the end of the school year to compile the report allow enough time for the next steps to be implemented in the following school year? The approach and process for completing a program self-assessment is different for every LEA. The size and makeup of your LEA, along with your LEA's program needs and resources, can affect the format in which the program self-assessment is completed. Depending on the size and makeup of your LEA, you may choose to have one individual complete the program self-assessment tool, have a group of individuals complete the whole tool, break the program self-assessment committee into subcommittees who then complete specific sections of the tool. Each LEA will need to decide which option works best, as there are advantages and disadvantages to each option. Individual. This could be for small LEAs, or a committee could be just one person. This is the most labor and time intensive. For a committee, this could be small to medium LEAs. The work of the self-assessment is broken down into parts and spread out to various committees. This model would most likely require multiple meetings leading up to an extended meeting where the whole evaluation document could be compiled together. Committee with subcommittees. This could be for medium to large LEAs. Work of the self-assessment is broken down into parts and then compiled together. This is less labor and time sensitive due to the large number of participants, but this does require much more coordination. It is important to note for smaller LEAs or LEAs that choose to use an individual model that the person selected needs to have access to all the recommended sources of evidence or data to properly evaluate the pre-kindergarten program. The pre-kindergarten program self-assessment guide has an additional examples of potential committee members to consider when planning the self-assessment work. Accurately completing the pre-kindergarten self-assessment tool requires the collection of evidence for the committee's use during the process. The makeup of the committee and the size of the LEA might alter the process for collecting the necessary evidence. Remember, if using an individual model to complete the pre-kindergarten self-assessment, then the person completing the tool will need to be able to access the sources of evidence available at the LEA. This slide contains very brief examples of sources of evidence, and a longer list can be found in the guide on page 6. Not all LEAs may have all the sources of evidence included in the Early Childhood Pre-Kindergarten Self-Assessment Guide. This list is not fully inclusive of all the possible sources of evidence an LEA may use. LEAs are encouraged to utilize additional sources of evidence as needed. To complete an effective self-assessment, it is important to follow a detailed process. This process has several major parts: collecting data and completing the self-assessment, analyzing the data to identify strengths and opportunities for growth, adjusting practices to drive continuous improvement. Let's now look at the self-assessment rubric. The 8 components depicted here are the areas in which LEAs will evaluate their pre-kindergarten programs. To complete the self-assessment, LEAs should follow these steps. Step 1. Review the quality components and the strategies for each component. Step 2. Read the indicators at each level. Step 3. Circle the indicator that best describes your pre-kindergarten program. Step 4. Compile results using the chart. Step 5. Identify strengths, opportunities for growth, and next steps for continuous improvement. 6. Use those results to create a continuous improvement plan. This slide illustrates the various parts of the self-assessment rubric. As seen already, there are 8 components and each component has various strategies. Within those strategies, LEAs will review and document the rating level the LEA meets. LEAs can use the indicators and sources of evidence to determine a rating of developing, proficient, or exemplary. Note that each strategy may be rated differently. Another important piece when completing the pre-kindergarten self-assessment is to norm ratings. This is particularly important when committees or subcommittees are being used to complete the program evaluation. Here is an example scenario for the transition component. The next slide will have the scenario and then we'll walk through the rating justifications for this example. Here is the scenario for transition. LEA has several things in place to support successful student transitions from one grade level to the next. LEA finds it helpful to work with the child care centers in their area. They do this by inviting child care providers to participate in professional development activities with LEA teachers 2 or 3 times a year. They also meet with child care providers every June and November to align program goals and expectations. During these meetings, child care providers work with the LEA to ensure the transition plan includes processes for successfully transitioning students to kindergarten. Within the LEA, pre-kindergarten and kindergarten teachers meet at the beginning of the school year to discuss student transitions. The LEA also has a process for pre-kindergarten staff to share student data with kindergarten staff. Included in the LEA's transition plan are school tours for incoming kindergarten students and their families and a kindergarten camp for families. That provides them with activities they can do to support learning at home. The plan also includes processes and procedures for updating records at the end of pre-kindergarten, deciding class placements, and reviewing student assessment data from the previous year and back-to-school professional development meetings. Based on the scenario on the previous slide, here are the rating justifications. The relevant areas have been color-coded for easier identification between the scenario slide and this ratings justification slide. Shared professional development is rated as proficient. The LEA is rated proficient because they invite early care and education providers to participate in more than one professional development activity a year. This would be considered developing, but not most of their professional development activities, which would be exemplary. Collaborative meetings with early care and education providers. This is rated as exemplary. The LEA is rated exemplary because they invite early care and education providers to meet twice a year. These meetings cover alignment of program goals and expectations. Sharing student data is rated as developing because the pre-kindergarten and kindergarten staff meet once a year and student data is shared with first grade staff. The LEA does not have a FERPA-compliant data sharing agreement in place with early care and education providers. Family transition strategies is rated proficient. The LEA is rated proficient because they provide families with 2 activities that support student transitions. These include the school tour and the kindergarten camp. Transition plan is rated as proficient. The LEA is rated proficient because their transition plan outlines processes and procedures needed to ensure successful student transitions and includes transitioning children from child care centers. Remember, accurate ratings are essential. Without accurate ratings, it is challenging for LEAs to use the rating to inform quality improvement efforts. This scenario and rating justifications provide an example to help norm your ratings to intended use of the tool. When completing the pre-kindergarten program self-assessment tool, it is important that all individuals involved understand and agree on the indicators in order to provide the most accurate results to inform continuous improvements in the pre-kindergarten program. In completing the early childhood program self-assessment, questions may arise regarding the terms used in the quality indicators and/or how to gather the information accurately to assess your LEA. This section of the Pre-Kindergarten Program Self-Assessment Guide aims to clarify terms used throughout the tools and answer frequently asked questions. Examples including frequently asked questions, definitions, and examples can be found in the Program Self-Assessment Guide on pages 11 through 24. Using this information will only further assist LEAs in accurately rating their pre-kindergarten programs. Remember, the Pre-Kindergarten Program Self-Assessment asks evaluators to review the following areas of their program: access and enrollment, administration, curriculum and instruction, assessment, learning environments, family engagement, and transitions. Once every strategy and every component has been evaluated for quality, the results can be compiled on a compilation sheet, much like the one you see on this slide. In this way, it is very easy to see overall results, things that the LEAs excel in, and things that LEAs can use for the continuous improvement plans. Once you've completed the Early Childhood Program Self-Assessment for pre-kindergarten, use the results page from each tool to identify strengths, opportunities for growth, and next steps for continuous improvement. Using the results from the Pre-Kindergarten Program Self-Assessment tool is crucial for improving the quality of your programs. A written plan, such as this Continuous Improvement Worksheet, will serve as a blueprint for how your district will address the needs identified during the self-assessment process. It is recommended that you create a plan for 3 to 5 strategies that you have identified for improvement. Reporting results from the Pre-Kindergarten Program Self-Assessment to families demonstrates the commitment LEAs have to ensure their children receive a high-quality early childhood education. There are several different ways in which you can report results to families, including disseminating a written summary to families, hosting a family event at which results are shared through a presentation, posting a summary of results on the LEA website. Please note, in reporting results to families, it is recommended that you provide a high-level summary of the program self-assessment results. Make sure to include areas of strength, opportunities for growth, and steps the LEA will take to improve the quality of your early childhood programs. Lastly, the Early Childhood Education web pages have numerous resources to support LEAs in completing the annual pre-kindergarten program self-assessment, including an FAQ section, access to other webinars and office hours, and downloadable resources, including the PDF version of the TEA Pre-Kindergarten Program Self-Assessment Tool and the Early Childhood Program Self-Assessment Guide. The guide provides a list of resources from both TEA and other organizations that can be used to help improve the quality of your programs. The title of each resource in the guide is a hyperlink. Examples of those pages can be seen here. This slide provides live links where you can find the resources for the Early Childhood Program Self-Assessment tools. On the left, you can access all 4 program self-assessments, the self-assessment guide, as well as the link to the online self-assessment for pre-kindergarten. The right shows what the initial screen to the online self-assessment tool looks like. Please remember, using the online version for the TEA Pre-Kindergarten Program Self-Assessment does not meet the requirement for submitting that information to the Early Childhood Data System. This is an online anonymous resource for LEAs to use to conduct their pre-kindergarten program self-assessment. If you find you need more support, please visit our Early Childhood Support Portal. This form allows stakeholders to select their desired topic area, such as high-quality pre-kindergarten, see relevant and common information for those areas, and additional resources for more assistance. Plus, if for some reason that information does not cover your specific question, stakeholders can send their question directly through the ECE portal to the specialist that will be able to assist them. In closing, improving the quality of your early childhood programs is an ongoing effort. Use the results from the pre-kindergarten program self-assessment to guide your improvement efforts and to increase the quality of your program in tangible ways. Thank you for joining us.